Namaskara. Welcome to Movement Nuances Series. Our guest today is Sri Manesh Maharaj, a Kathak artist from Durban, South Africa. This is the third segment with Manesh of a series of talks.
How have you thought of evolving the teaching process? Because with children, or even adults for that matter, it's not that easy when you are in person standing in front of them and trying to tell them something as opposed to the laptop. So how have you been able to come up with something that is suitable and probably has also motivated your students to do it, to continue doing it?
Right. So before I get to that, the teaching aspect, I want to share something with you. It is when the lockdown hit South Africa, it went straight into level 5, which means we were basically confined to our homes. The only time we were allowed to go out if it was essentials, we needed to buy groceries, So for me, I mean, having all our programs and all of that, left hanging or postponed or cancelled or whatever, I had to think to myself as an artist, what am I going to do? Because now the classes, we couldn't even go to class. We couldn't have contact classes. So that on the one side, I had kept aside. The other thing that I wanted to try, Chitra, was something I would not probably have had the time. For example, you would have not had the time to do this if it was a normal time, because we are so busy. It's a rat race, literally. So I thought to myself, I have this time to myself. Do I get straight into teaching with the Zoom classes, or do I take some time out of this rat race, for a lack of a better word? So I said, there's this practice called Chila. I'm not sure if you're aware, definitely aware of it. That's practiced by tabla players, mostly, It is 40 days of just going deep inside, sort of cutting yourself completely from the material world. Very difficult to do considering social media and all of that now. Before it was much easier, but now it's like it was my time to ask myself, is this the time to do this? This is the time to go into hibernation or sort of, but not inactive, active, actively going inside. And I said, I want to do this because I would never get another chance. So that was what I did for the first 2.5 months of lockdown. It went that long. I converted my garage, which is the space that you see, into my man cave, if you could call it that. And I lived here basically for those 2.5 months. The only time I went to the main house was when I needed to use the bathroom, to sleep or eat something. After that, I was back into the space. Rigorous riyaz, morning and evening, but not with the intent of completing an item or finishing this piece because that program is coming up next month. Usually that's the scenario. We have so many programs that we rehearse to complete it for a program. And this was one time I was not doing that. It was just to improve on my skills, my body, my mind, my spirit, and to really understand what it is to go inside. Very, very, very difficult. You need the utmost amount of discipline because we are so used to, if we're doing nothing, what do? We get the phone and see what's happening on the phone, kind of thing, I was completely removed from social media, not doing any interviews because a lot of people wanted to do interviews and online festivals and that kind of thing. And I said, if I do that, then I'm still in the rat race. I don't want to do that because I still have to do riyaz to finish the piece for the festival. And I didn't want to do that. This gave me time to concentrate on one movement, to really understand where the movement starts, what's the accent, where does it finish, how do you feel inside? Is it perfect? Is the line correct? Is the space correct? All of these questions. For the first time, I started thinking about it. Before you believe it's right. It's right. You move with what you think is right. So it was the mirror in front of me, which was sort of my guru. Showing me all the flaws and that kind of thing. Videoing myself sometimes to see it. How my progress is moving along, but obviously completely detached from the social media and that kind of thing. But there came a point where I did receive some messages from my students saying, like, Guruji, what's happening? We are getting bored at home. And I said, I've given you so much. If you're getting bored, there's a problem with my teaching. You shouldn't, even if you're doing ta, the, tat, a, the, tat. We did that for 6 months, non-stop, with no other movement, So I decided, okay, it's time for me to come out now and, address the situation with the students. But this time, my time with this, I'll call it a chilla because that's what I did, was for me just scratching the surface. It wasn't like I've done it and I'm happy I ticked something off my bucket list. It's like the spirit wants to go there again, but the time is not presenting it, And I'm looking forward to the time I can do that again for a longer space, And hopefully one day it would become my life, and not do anything else, but just that, and surrender to just that, ultimately and eventually. But anyway, I come out of this this Riyaz period and had to start the whole process of the Zoom download and getting my laptop back updated again, because everything was like, people forgot I existed, and even the electronics even forgot that I was around. So I had to update all of those things. And eventually I started teaching my classes through Zoom. So a few things happened here. I think the students that, my students that started doing the class with me, my older students, they more or less understand me as a guru, my process, what I look for. And it becomes very easier when you teach students, when they know the guru. When the guru is not going to settle for anything less, whether it's in person or whether it's through a screen. They understand that Riyaz is required, and when they do appear on that screen, I'm going to expect the work to be complete. So, and this generation that we have now, the millennials, they're very, very comfortable with this method of learning through a screen, because they're doing it with the schoolwork as well, with the academics. So it was nothing new. They didn't have to adapt like I had to adapt to it. For me, it wasn't difficult. It was just I had to settle in, basically. And I'm so used to it now. I'm so used to it. It's so convenient now. We don't have to drive, sit in our cars and drive and go to the class and sometimes, sweep the class and get started. Now you just 5 minutes before you switch on and you're ready to go on. Not that I don't want the contact classes to start. Nothing beats that. But the challenge does come where, because of the Zoom classes, it's opened my school now on an international level. So I've got students from the UK, from the USA, from Australia, all parts of South Africa, which I did not have before, obviously, because no one from Johannesburg or Cape Town is going to travel to Durban. But now I've got new students from around the world, including nationally from South Africa. That is a bit of a challenge because they don't know the process. So I usually share, all the aims and objectives of the school. And as much as we can, although it is a classroom situation, we do follow as much as we can the Guru-shishya parampara and how it works. And when a student does reach that time, it does change. The dynamic does change to more one-on-one rather than the class situation. Those students can call me up at any time. That's the cream that's retained over years now, you know. So yes, it's been a challenge, but I can clearly easily say now that I've adapted to the new way of teaching, and it's working well for me. The kids are on holiday at the moment. We don't even know when they would start school because of the COVID. That's still, some schools have started, but they are mostly private schools. But the government schools, we're not too sure when that's going to start. But I resume my Kathak classes from the 1st of February. So I'm looking forward to seeing all of them, connecting with them, seeing how much of Riyaz they've done, because before lockdown, we did a 2-day workshop, intensive workshop from 8 in the morning till 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I sort of bombarded them with work, work that's already, they have the audio, they have the video. So there's no excuse that I forgot the choreography because there's so much of work, we were overdosed or whatever it is. So everything is laid down visually, or everything. And I'm looking forward to see what they bring back to me.
Thank you for watching this video. Follow us on Instagram for more updates. Make sure you like, share and subscribe to our channel.